This is a strategy that I used, which took me from not being able to do a single handstand push-up to doing 6 in a row. Now I'm sharing it with you so you can learn a handstand push-up. The handstand push-up is a unique skill which requires both strength and balance. So no matter how good your balance is, if you don't have enough strength, you'll never be able to complete a rep. And likewise, no matter how strong you are, if you don't have enough balance, you're just going to fall off and you're never going to get a handstand push-up. So basically what we need to do is work on our strength and work on our balance, and then combine them to get our first repetition. So let's start with step 1, which is training for strength. In order to be able to do a handstand push-up, you need to be able to press your entire body weight above your head. And the best way to get to this point is not with pike push-ups or even wall handstand push-ups. The best way to get to this point is by using the military press. Once you can press 75% of your body weight for a few reps, you are already strong enough to do like 3 handstand push-ups. So what you're going to do is train the military press twice a week in a 3 to 5 rep range until you can reach these numbers, 75% of your body weight. Initially in my journey, I started with a pike push-up method because every single video on YouTube will tell you the pike push-up method, but I quickly realized how flawed it was. Like whenever I tried to progress from a normal pike push-up to an elevated pike push-up, it was a huge jump in intensity, especially when I went from pike push-ups to wall handstand push-ups. I just could not budge that rep. However, when I switched to the military press method, I could just progress smoothly over time because whenever the weight felt easy, I just added 5 kilograms and I repeated. So it works really nice. So just train on the military press to work on your strength. That's step 1. And step 2, obviously, is the handstand. You need to be able to have the good handstand. And this is one of the things that holds people back the most on the handstand push-up training, because they cannot hold a handstand and they expect to do a handstand push-up, which is just makes no sense. So what's a good handstand? You should get to a point where at least half of your attempts are successful. Because if you just keep trying to get into a handstand and you only get it sometimes, your handstand is not consistent enough. You need to be confident in your handstand so you can get a handstand push-up later. One good metric that I like to give is this. If a guy came to your house and put a gun to your head and told you to get on a handstand on your first try, that should not make you nervous, or at least very nervous. As not nervous as you can be with a gun to your head. The point is, you need to feel confident in your handstand. You need to be able to get into the handstand like whenever you like. It should be as simple as doing push-ups for you. Right now you feel confident that you can get on the ground and do many push-ups. It should be the same with a handstand. You should just be able to get into a handstand. And how do you get to that point? You get to that point by training the handstand against the wall first, not by just doing attempts. This is the biggest mistake people make on their handstand training, and that's why it takes them 5 years to learn the handstand, which should not be that way. You should be able to just train it against the wall without even taking the feet off. You just train a handstand against the wall for like 30 seconds. Once that feels easy and now you've learned proper alignment because you're training against the wall, then you start taking your feet off the wall one by one and trying to hold for time. And once you start doing this, you'll not be able to hold it at all. And then you're going to start getting like 1 to 2 second holds. This is great, this is progress. You just keep getting into a wall and taking your feet off as long as it takes until you can actually hold a handstand for like 20 or 30 seconds. Once you get to this point where you get on the wall, take your feet off, and you can hold a handstand for like 20, 30 seconds, it's only at this point that you're going to start training the handstand on the floor, doing attempts. Because at this point, you can hold a handstand. And a handstand is actually 2 skills. It's holding a handstand and it's kicking up into a handstand. And you can only learn the kick up into a handstand once you can learn the handstand. What most people do is they try to learn the kick up and the handstand at the same time, which simply does not work. But now that you can hold a handstand because you've been holding it against a wall, you need to kick up. And this is how you're going to get your handstand. By the way, everything I've covered in here in this video so far, I put it into a step-by-step guide which you can find in the description, which is my handstand push-up ebook, which will take you from a complete beginner to being able to hold a handstand and doing 1 and then 5 handstand push-ups. It's all there, go check it out. So now that you have a solid handstand and you're already strong enough at the military press because you've been training it for a few months and you can do 75% of your body weight for some reps, now all that's left for you to do is attempts. So basically what you need to do is just get into a handstand and try to do a push-up. This is how you're going to unlock the handstand push-up from scratch. You'll understand the form cues by yourself once you tried it. The main thing that you need to understand is that your body should remain in a straight line throughout the whole movement, just like as the handstands. You're not supposed to pike your hips. You're supposed to remain in a solid line, just like the handstand. And the other thing you need to understand is that you do not go directly down. You go down diagonally. So as if you're trying to create an imaginary triangle with your nose and your wrists. So as this happens, of course, your feet are going to go back. But as you can see, I remain in a complete straight line. So yeah, that's all you need to do. Attempts. You need to get strong, you need to find good balance, and then you just need to fucking try. That's all you need to do. And again, if you want this written in an actionable step-by-step guide with all the details, all the numbers you need to achieve, just check the first link in the description where you'll find my handstand push-up ebook.